Welcome back. We are live and in person in our studio here down in Chula Vista. Ed Wilson, BNI San Diego podcast host and executive director for BNI San Diego. I'm joined by one of our fantastic guests, prior guests, and she'll be on many a times as well, Corryn Kivett. Corryn Kivett of Evolution Room, and what are some of the other wonderful things that you're involved with?
Oh, well, hey, thanks. So Evolution Room is my company. We do coaching and training. So we're a coaching and training platform. I like to say that we're a transformation company that just so happens to help you grow your business and make more money.
And I love the shirt.
Thank you.
Currently evolving, always evolving, right?
Yep.
Always getting better.
Yep.
Right? And how's business? How are things going? We're in coming into the fourth quarter of the year.
Yep.
How are things going for the year?
They're going good. Yeah, I actually just got done with a kind of mid-year check-in. I do a bunch of events at my commercial office, and we had a mid-year check-in. Where are you at with your goals? You know, what needs to happen towards the end of the year? And it's feeling good. I feel like there's a shift. There's a motivation in people to end the year strong. So it's feeling good.
Anything in particular, because this is 2025, right? Mm-hmm. This is for a lot of people, when you look back 20 years ago or 25 years ago with Y2K, you look back 5 years ago with that little thing called the pandemic.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly, right? So 2025 is going to be a great year, ending strong, right?
Yes. What's funny is I just got done this weekend with 2 breakthrough days, which I can go into in a little bit. And we were talking about our 5-year projections, and 2030 is in 5 years. And when that landed for me, 2030, like, oh my gosh, it hit me. Wow. Time is moving fast.
I mean, you're definitely not old enough to remember this, but there was a movie, was it Steven Spielberg? It was an old Steven Spielberg movie, one of his probably first. Space Odyssey, I don't remember the year, but it was like 20. I mean, back then, mind you, I was born in 70. I just hit my double nickel birthday. And to look ahead and go, back then 30 years ago or 40 years ago and go, 2025, wow, that was like, oh my gosh. And now we're here, right?
We're here.
And people are killing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they are. I think that there's more opportunity than ever right now, which is amazing.
And that's the word. I love that word because, and I'm actually glad you used it, because it's it pulls you forward. Mm-hmm. Because there's, I love using this podcast studio. This is our BNI San Diego podcast, because there's books everywhere that I can point to. We talked about the obstacle is the way. I know that today we're going to be touching on the speed of trust or the trust recession. Yep. But it's wonderful when you look at a word like opportunity, as in when you fail at something or you hit a wall, the obstacle, what's the opportunity here?
Yeah. Yeah, having that, that one perspective can and will shift at anything for anyone.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So let's get into our topic, since we kind of hinted towards it. What is our topic today, Corryn?
Our topic today is that we are in a trust recession, and what can we be doing to speed up that trust, right? And also, how can we be leveraging BNI, because that is a huge component of building trust, that warm referral, right? That warm handoff.
So when you say the trust recession, elaborate a little bit on that.
So I don't know if anybody's noticed, there's a lot of noise out there, right? There's a lot of noise. We get lots of emails from people that we don't necessarily
Political
know.
side, all of everything going on.
Yes. So honestly, since about COVID times, there's been a lot of unknown. There's been a lot of polarity. There's a lot of, I don't know who to trust right now. And when there's the I don't know who to trust, what does that instill? Fear, right? So we hold things kind of closer to our heart, closer to ourselves. And so in the world of business, trust is more important now than ever before, right? Having that warm connection, having that ability to build that trust sooner rather than later with prospects, so that way they can ideally become clients. Ideally clients that you can serve to the best of your ability. Because if not you, then who?
When you use the words trust recession, what does it look like in a day-to-day? How is it impacting me
from a consumer standpoint?
Or I mean, we're here because of business.
So I think I'll talk about both sides. The easiest from like the client standpoint is I'm willing to bet that everyone listening to this has gotten a phone call from a number that they don't know.
Yep.
Right? I'm willing to bet that earlier on, if you didn't know that number, what'd you do? You picked up. Hey, who's this? Right? Now what do you do?
With caller ID? Oh, yeah.
Right. Or you automatically decline.
Yep.
So that, I mean, that's a small example. However, that's still the perfect example for not having trust, not picking up the phone, right? We don't know who we're talking to. And so as a business owner, being able to, and for me, it's speaking our clients, buying language, right? Teaching human behavior. We want to make sure that we're speaking our prospects' language. So that way they get that, oh, this person gets me. Oh, that person knows me. Oh, that person understands me. They're not just in it for the transaction, right? And I know in B&I, giver's gain is huge.
Yep.
Approaching the conversation with a, hey, if we work together after this, great. And let me be of service to you outside of just the sale.
No, and that's a really good point. It just, when you were talking, it reminded me years ago, I had a colleague, and I would use this example often. I had a colleague that was in the nonprofit sector, and he was fundraising. His whole job was fundraising for an organization, and it got to the point where people, when this person called, the assumption was he's going to be asking for money, and it got to the point where people would, and again, caller ID, they saw the name, and they would turn it over, right, and not answer, because it was never a, hey, Corryn, how you doing? Yeah. It was, hey, Corryn, how you doing? And I need this.
And what's in it for me?
Yes, the what's in it for me. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it reminded me of is, how often are we reaching out to customers, reaching out to clients, reaching out to friends and family just to say, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And as you were saying that, what came up for me is perception is reality.
Oh.
So even if you are calling them to find out how they're doing, if you consistently end with a, hey, can I ask you for this? Hey, can I do that? Yeah. Perception is reality. So they're going to believe that whenever you call, there's some type of question or need from you. And so I think it's really important as business owners for us to have that in the back of our head. And like you said, just calling to have a conversation. How are you? How can I help? And I personally love doing that because being a business coach, I touch a lot of areas in business, and leveraging my B&I chapter, I have amazing resources. So I'll just call and have a conversation. Oh, you're having bookkeeping issues? Okay, I know a person, right? Let me connect you.
So you're actually adding value.
Yes.
So in a previous podcast, we talked about the element of give value before you ask for value. And sometimes the asking for value isn't done until your third call or your sixth call, or whatever the action is, or the interaction is, but rather just showing up. And it goes hand in hand with our giver's gain philosophy. Just show up to give.
Yeah. Just be a good human. Good
oh my gosh. And when your name comes up, people are going to, oh, I need to take this.
Yeah. They get excited.
Right? Yeah.
I called a client the other day and it rang. It was like half a ring and she picked up. I was like, you were either on your phone or really excited to hear from me. Maybe both, right?
Well, and even texting, right? How often do sometimes you literally push send and all of a sudden the three little bubbles show up.
Yeah.
Or you don't hear anything back for a couple of days. Yeah. And how do you gauge, how can someone look in the mirror to gauge if there are signs that someone could be in a trust recession with another individual? Or are they, how can we help people set themselves up for success so that they're not in a trust recession? Or if they are, how do they come out of it?
Yeah, good question. Right when you were saying that, I thought of Earl Nightingale. I've listened to Earl Nightingale.
Love. Yeah.
Like the OG,
Yeah.
I listened to him since I was, I think, 10 years old, my grandfather.
10 years ago, isn't it?
I wish, yeah. And he always says, I'm trying to articulate how he says it, and I might be butchering it, the way in which people act when you walk into a room. that tells you your way of being,
Ooh.
right? Their response to you. So when you walk in a room, are people coming up to say hi and talking to you? Or are they kind of turning a shoulder, right? Like looking another way. I think that that's a good gauge for, okay, how am I showing up? How am I communicating? How am I at really being with people? And it's funny, as I said that, I was thinking about, he also talks about everything that we do in business is with and through people, right? And even now in the age of AI, right? AI is becoming so much more popular. It's funny, people tell me all the time, like, oh, coaching and training, AI is going to be taking over that. Yeah, well, I teach human behavior, and human connection is going to be more important than ever, right? Talk to Ed from BNI.
Because of that.
100%.
Well, one of, we were just recently having this conversation, because periodically I'll use AI to help me formulate an email or something, because I just can't get the words right.
Yeah.
And how many times right now do you get an email from someone, and just looking at the email, I can tell that was AI generated?
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with a colleague just recently about, they were asking for my opinion on a particular email. And my first statement was, you need to make it non-AI looking. Because you can, all they literally did was cut and pasted, and it's like, no, you've got to, it's so easy to see AI right now.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, and he's a manager, and he said that he was sending in a performance review, and it was a self-reflection. So they're supposed to send back how well they're performing, right? And he's reading through it, and he's like, wow, this team member did a really great job. And at the bottom, it says, like, the AI script of, would you like this to be more productive, based, personal?
So they literally copied the entire thing.
And then they left the script in there. So be careful if you're using AI, make sure.
And what did that do for the trust of that individual?
Exactly. And going back to the trust component, what you mentioned about a trust recession, I think that it's important for us to acknowledge that we are all in a trust recession, that people right now, they don't know who to trust. There's a lot of noise. There's also a lot of decision fatigue, right? We're constantly on our phones, so that attention span isn't there as much as it used to be. So I think the question is, how do we navigate knowing that we're in a trust recession, right? What are the things as business owners, what are we going to do to equip ourselves to navigate this new economy, this new market, right? Rather than going back, what can we do to evolve forward? Plugging yourself in a BNI, because when you have that warm referral, you're leveraging the trust of someone else, right? And that trust and that rapport is already a little bit there. Now, I will say the trust is there. The rapport is on you, right? Still takes some rapport, some effective communication to be able to close it. However, you're bypassing so much resistance just by having that handoff.
Well, and how much is the word authentic come into play with this area?
I would say it's everything right now. There's, again, with like AI and people not knowing, is a picture real? Is it not real, right? Is it authentic? Is it not authentic? So you showing up as your best self and your full self, that's going to be reciprocated. In one of my advanced trainings, we talk about our energy field, and it's scientifically proven that you have about an 8 to 10 foot radius of your energy. So people can sense you before you even walk in a room.
Whoa.
Now, what are they sensing, right? What are they picking up on? So ourselves doing our own work is really important too. Well,
and the element of, I think about the white noise that you talked about, right? There's a ton of white noise. So where I can show up authentic, there's so much white noise. Is someone actually seeing me as authentic?
Yeah.
Because they're so, it's like, we don't know who to trust. Even the ones that we can trust, we don't even know, because of all the white noise going on.
Yeah.
How can we amplify in a true way our trustability, or that's the word, I
like it. Trustability. I like that.
Trustability. Yeah.
I like that.
How can we do it authentically?
Yeah.
And really, like, genuinely, like, hey, this is, you're going to ultimately have to decide if I'm trustworthy, but I'm going to show up this way.
I'm thinking two different ways. The first way is human behavior, and this is why I lean on my trainings so hard. Being able to get out of here and really communicate into someone's listening. We aren't trained to do that. School doesn't teach us how to do that. We don't get taught effective communication. Every single one of us communicate in a very different way, and we also buy in a very different way. And so when we're approaching a sales conversation and you're unable to sell into the way that somebody wants to be sold to, guess what? They're going to be like, whoa, they don't get me. I don't trust them.
Well, what's that saying? Nobody wants to be sold.
Everyone loves to buy.
Yes, absolutely.
Go walk around your neighborhood. There's Amazon boxes everywhere. People love to buy.
Well, yeah. And it's, when people talk about we're in a recession and you see all the Amazon, it's like, yeah, are we really?
Yeah.
But it's where is the value? How do we show up? How do people show up?
Yeah. And this goes back to what we talked about earlier. If not you, then who?
Because it's going to be someone.
It's going to be someone. I don't know if this is the exact statistic. It's said that 80% of people have already bought the item in their mind. With the internet, honestly, it's probably higher now with AI and ChatGPT. They already know they're going to buy. They're just figuring out with who. And so as business owners, if we're not setting ourselves up for success to really lean into that sales conversation, build that rapport instantaneously, right? Build that trust, then they're going to walk away from that and someone's going to say MasterCard or Visa, and they're going to move forward with them rather than with you. How much
this one particular area that I'm really trying to take a deep dive into it is emotional intelligence. How important is emotional intelligence when it comes to building trust and really bridging that gap of, to me, I look at the recession. The recession as a gap, right? How do I build a bridge over that with an understanding of emotional intelligence?
Yeah, I feel like you're opening up a rabbit hole for me. Okay, we're going to avoid making this an hour-long podcast. Okay, so emotional intelligence to me is everything. I'm going to go back to the energy piece. Now, I am not an expert in energy. I lean on the science of it, right? If that energy is getting projected out, right, we're constantly projecting out what's going on internally. So if we aren't emotionally regulated, like let's just say the recession is happening, the economy is going down. I'm doing air quotes here because, we don't actually know. What happens? People get into fear. They start to pull back. And so that fear, right, I need the sale, I need more business, it starts to get projected out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really important for us to make sure that we're emotionally calm, cool, regulated, right? Even unconsciously, because our programming is really, really sneaky. So that's the first component. And then on the other side of things, being able to meet people where they're at. People make decisions based off of emotion, and then they justify with logic. So if we're going in with just facts,
that big barbecue
logic,
that I just bought, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. You needed it, right?
Yes.
You're imagining all the family functions,
Yes.
right? How good you feel, and then we justify with logic. So if we aren't having the emotional intelligence to meet people where they're at and to be able to really understand emotions and how they work, then it makes our conversation on our end more clunky, and then people start ghosting, and then we don't know why people didn't move forward, right? It doesn't make sense. I hear that all the time. People say, humans don't make sense. When you understand human behavior, humans are very, very predictable. We love consistency, right? So that emotional intelligence gives us that toolkit to be equipped as business owners to navigate.
So let's bring it back to B&I and your chapter.
Yeah.
And, when we look at our chapters right now, you're in B&I Carmel Valley, past president. You have, you set the current leadership up for success,
They're doing
right?
awesome. Yeah,
they're doing amazing. It is a room full of 64 to 67 people right now. How do you ensure or gauge that you're not you per se, but an individual in the room? How can we help them gauge or see in a B&I chapter if they are in a trust recession or not? Or is it possible?
Yeah, I just think that as a whole, we are just in one.
Okay.
Yeah, as a whole, people, the world, I can't speak to the world, the U.S. is in one.
So I guess it's almost an easier way to look at it. Like we are there no matter what,
Yeah.
whether you personally really are or not, we as a country, a nation
Just are. Yeah, it's almost like if you're in real estate, if the market's down, right, we can't be positive and think the market's up. Well, it is down. It's just how are you going to navigate that down market, right? How are we going to navigate this trust recession? What tools are we putting in our toolbox to be able to navigate that, right? For me, that's why I teach what I teach, right? Human behavior. I'm in a BNI. I'm in a community of 64 to 67 professionals who get what I do, that I build trust with, that I have the visibility, the credibility, right? Which then leads to the profitability. So what are you doing to set yourself up for success?
And what are some of those things that an individual can do to set themselves apart, right? We talked earlier about somebody's going to buy somewhere. What can we do to ensure, or maybe ensure is not the right word. What can we do to propel ourselves forward in this area?
Other than come to my training.
That's a great place to start.
Other than go to BNI. I would say if you're not plugging yourself into a BNI or into a network like that, you have to be. And if you aren't leveraging your BNI, there are people listening to this that are saying, yeah, I'm in a BNI, I get it. However, are you leveraging it? Are you really having the conversations? Are you really having the transparent conversations? There was a new member who recently joined. We were having our one-to-one, and I absolutely loved what she did. She turned around and said, can you tell me what you think that I do? And that for me, I nailed it because her and I are great referral sources for one another. So I really got what she did. And I was like, I'm going to use that. So if anyone listening to this, if you are in a network like that, turning around to your referral partners and saying, hey, what do you think that I do? And how do you communicate it to potential referrals? That right there, and making any tweaks that need to be made, because our referral partners are doing the best that they can. Let's give them the tools that are really going to let them be successful.
Yeah, we've used this one multiple times. If people have to work at getting us a referral, they're probably not going to get us a referral. We've got to tee it up. We've got to make it so easy on the people around us, educate the room. That's awesome. I love how you put that. And for what she did with you.
Yeah. So now every one-to-one that I do, I have that conversation. And then I ask the other person if I can share what I think that they do. And and if I'm communicating it well enough. Right.
And that's got to go. I mean, that just takes you up to a new level because it really, what's everybody wants to be seen.
Yeah. I was thinking Earl Nightingale says the most important person in the world, because they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And it makes a difference. And those little things that you can do to show people that you see them.
That's what it is right there.
Right.
In a world full of noise, how are you seeing your prospects, your family members, your referral partners? How can you make it about them? So
one of my mentors who you've met, Andy Cruz, who's also does all the
amazing guy.
Wonderful. Does all the production for our podcast and whatnot. One of my favorite things about Andy is in every meeting, every BNI meeting I've ever been with him in, he's constantly what someone, like whoever's standing up, he's taking notes.
Yeah.
Right. And don't just leave it up to, I'm going to remember that. But what that does is it tells the person that you're in front of that what they say matters to me.
Yeah. Perception is reality.
Yes. And as you said, there's so much white noise. There's so much, not just white noise, but what's the other, not combativeness, but there's so much
for me,
tension.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was say,
in the air with politics, with religion. I mean, all the name it, it's in the air. And how do we add clarity? How do we bring peace into that room How do we, like you talked earlier, which I loved. You talked about how, and Earl Nightingale, when you walk into a room, that energy you bring, are people like, are they leaning in? Or are they like, whoa?
Yeah. The attitude that you bring.
Yeah.
Right. To answer your question, I think that it starts with us. Like, it starts with us having the peace, us having the clarity, our ability to be the calm amongst the chaos, right? Are you the type of person that goes to Costco during rush hour and you're pissed off that like everyone's there?
I've been there. Yeah.
Or are you going to Costco and you just know what you're going to get? And it's almost like you ignore everyone and you're the ninja and you're navigating everything, right?
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in your own little bubble. So many people are getting distracted by all the other people and all the other noise. Stay focused on you, be the calm amongst the chaos that's out there. And that's what's going to gravitate towards you, because you are constantly influencing people all of the time. And what's that influence? Is it that you're scattered, overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, all the things, and then you love to be busy and you're in all that? Or are you shifting you and showing up intentionally, strategic, calm, clear-headed?
Wow. That literally just put an image of in my head. And we talk a lot about this in leadership training. We've got leadership training coming up here in the next couple of weeks, where we're always telling our leaders, people are always watching how you show up as a leader, as a president, a vice president, whatever role you're in. If a leader or someone in the room shows up consistently in a particular way, people are always watching.
Yeah.
Whether it's Zoom and you don't think because there's 40 tiles on the screen, oh, they're not seeing that I ran off to go do something, or I'm on a phone call, or I'm doing some of these things. And talking about leadership, if you've got a leader in the room that is consistently late or discombobulated or things are running off track, you finally, I'm that leader. And I'm showing up late, or I'm some of these images are showing up
on it.
And you finally have a referral for me that week. You've been trying to get me a referral. And I always ask people, is Corryn gonna like be excited about taking it out of her pocket, or is she gonna push it in further? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Going back to what we talked about, emotions, right? That feeling of, I don't know, there's just something about them that you know, they're in my BNI, they could definitely help them, but I don't know, man, there's something. My reputation's on the line.
Yeah.
My trust is on the line. I think I'm just going to hold that one for a little bit.
Because the perception is, if you do it here,
do it everywhere.
Are you going to show up on time for that? Yeah. All of those things.
Yeah. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
And that's a scary thing. And is it something that, let's say that someone listening to the podcast is going, oh, holy moly, that's me. Is there a way to correct it?
Yeah, easily. Always starts with awareness. Any type of change always starts with awareness. If we don't know what we don't know, it's going to run in the background. It's going to control us, right? So if they're listening, what are the 1 to 3 things that are standing out to you, right? The late.
So not 10 things.
No. 1 to 3, right? Pick one.
Thank you for putting,
Start with one, right? Don't go on ChatGPT and say, what are the 50 things that I need to change about myself, okay? Just what are some small, tiny shifts that you can be making day in and day out, right? It all starts with that awareness, though. And we have to be, we tend to be the number one person that we lie to the most, right? It requires us to have that mirror and to have the accountability. And to just ask ourselves, are we really performing at the level that we know that we can? If not, all good. We've all been there. We're all human. What gets to change? What gets to shift? So that way you are.
How important is it, when you just said that, it reminded me something. How important is it to have people around you that are the friends that are going to tell you how it is? How important is that?
It's everything. So I love when I talk to people just about success, because in my world, I teach the science behind success in sales. So when I talk about success, I just love asking people, like, how do you think, or how do you see people creating success? And they talk about talent and skill and hard work and effort and, determination and consistency. And all of those are very true. And I will say your environment is a huge, huge dictator of your success. You can be a high performer, yet if you're in an environment that is pulling you down, that environment will have a huge influence on you. Just like if you're a high performer that's in circles that are lifting you up, right? It's going to have a huge influence. So asking yourself, one, where are you putting yourself? But then also, how are you showing up in your circles, right? Are you the person that's pulling the BNI chapter down? Or are you pulling the BNI chapter up, right? And sometimes it's a hard question to ask.
And do you, on a personal standpoint, whether it's friend or colleague, do you have those people around you that call you on the carpet or tell you, hey, you're not being your authentic self, or hey, what, you know?
Oh yeah, it's fun. That 2-day breakthrough that I just said, there was about 10 hours of that. So yes, I do. I do my best to put coaches and mentors and just people around me that are willing to call me out. And I also want to say it depends on me too. Am I open to being called out? Am I open to the feedback? Because if I'm not, nobody's going to say anything.
That's huge.
Because what's going to happen? I'm going to argue. I'm going to push it away, right? If you're open to it, then you're more likely going to attract people that are willing to give it to you.
Well, how many leaders do you know that surround themselves with yes people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That doesn't help you at all.
Does not. And sometimes that hard pill to swallow is the one that we need, right? That's where the magic lies.
Well, and again, going back to our topic, you know, trust recession.
Yeah.
Is it helping or hindering? Mm-hmm. Is the recession or the gap? I when I think of recession, I just think of like that gap, right?
The bridge,
Is it getting wider?
Like the trust recession in your client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's the bridge?
Yeah. Or is the gap getting wider?
Yeah.
Right. So even if you were in the process of building a bridge, you know, are you drawing them closer to you, or are you pushing them away from you?
Yeah. And I think that's the question that we consistently get to ask as entrepreneurs and business owners, right? The small tweaks that get made. So that way we make that bridge smaller. How
do we, you know, again, going back to that, the element of entrepreneurs, because we were just talking about this recently. As entrepreneurs, I know everything as an entrepreneur. So, you know, I show up in the room and, you know, it's all about Ed and, you know, everything that I know. And, oh yes, I know that. Or yes, I do that. How do we, I mean, obviously those are very, is it detract? Is when you push people away? What's the word?
What you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get what you're saying.
Whatever. Yeah. You know, nobody wants to be around those individuals, right? That are full of themselves.
Yeah.
The know-it-alls. How do you navigate through those individuals?
Ooh, that's a good question. How do I navigate as a coach? They typically hire me to tell them the hard thing, right? To get slapped around a little bit.
Do they actually? Here's a question though. Do they actually listen? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes you have to say the hard thing. And if I can lead a horse to water, I can shove the horse's head under the water. I can't make the horse drink, right? So at the end of the day, I would turn around and ask, like, what's the purpose of really holding yourself back? Because there is so much. Our brain filters out like 99.99999% every single second. So we're really only taking in what we're programmed to take in. And if we already have I know this, then we're only going to see evidence for what we already know. Keeps you from growing.
Yeah.
Makes business, success.
We want to draw people in, not repel them.
Yeah. That was the word.
That's, yeah. Okay. So let's talk to, you know, we're coming up to a close here in a little bit. Let's talk to that person that realizes we're all in the trust recession, period. And this is someone that's looking in the mirror and going, how do I set myself up for success? How do I build the bridge? How do I bring them in closer authentically, all the while realizing that I'm stressing out because I gotta do that sale. I've got to make that sale. I've got to, you know, promote my business, yet still be authentic.
Yeah, I think the first thing is recognizing trust is the core of what you want to build, right? So falling back on rapport, how are you building rapport with people? And the key to that is listening. Yeah, there's certain strategies and techniques in human behavior, and at the core, listening. Are you listening to your people? Because listening, coming in with the lens of listening and really hearing them, and then honestly repeating back to them what you just heard, that technique right there does so much for people, because they get me, right? So listening.
That's the I see you.
Yeah, I see you. Listening, I would say asking really strategic questions. If you are approaching any of your networking, if you're approaching any of your sales calls, anything with the I need business out of this, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I show up for someone else? What is really going on? How can I step out of that and just be for someone else? And if a sale happens, right? Those programs, the itty bitty shitty committee that my mentor calls them, the boardroom in your head, right, is a huge dictator of what you're projecting out. Oof. So if and when that's there, stepping back and working with a coach, working with a mentor to figure out what's really going on.
And I think having a coach is incredibly important, because they help us see the blind spots. And I mean, it's fantastic. I have a lot of respect for what you do with individuals.
Thank you. I think the point that I want to make is every single one of us have an itty bitty shitty committee. It's not like you ever don't have one, right? I don't care if you're if you're low 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, we all got one, right? It's the brain. It's designed that way. So avoid judging yourself or blaming yourself if any of that is happening. I can guarantee you it's happening with the other business owners that are in the room. It's just, how are you conquering it? How are you overcoming it? How are you working with it? Because everything that's coming up is coming up for a reason. If we push it down, it's what you resist persists. So how are you working with it, and how are you moving through it?
Wow. There's always things to learn from. What's the opportunity here?
Yep. Exactly. Going back to what we first talked about.
Love it. Love it.
I love that.
Corryn, from this conversation, there's probably 3 or 4 more podcasts that we can do on different areas. I love having you in studio with us. And thank you for joining us. This is your first time in studio.
I was going to say, this is my first time in studio. And
wonderful.
It is beautiful.
Right?
There's so many books that I want to read that I'm looking at.
Me too. I'm the same, right? Thank you for joining us. I look forward to having you back again. Again, if you've not connected with Corryn's information is going to be down below. Make sure you reach out to her. Great topic. Thank you. As you mentioned, we are all, whether you believe it or not, we're all in a trust recession. Yeah. Let's do the things that are going to set us in the right direction and build a team around us that is that are willing to tell us what we may not want to hear.
Yeah. So we can come out on the other side stronger.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to having you back here next week with us for another fantastic episode with another wonderful guest. Again, Corryn, thank you for joining us. I hope you have an amazing fourth quarter.
Thank you.
And let's kill it this year, everyone. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you back next week.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.